Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight we bring you round 5 of the EDF Motorsports GT4 TCR Challenge, live from Phillip Island in Australia. In the booth with me tonight, I have Miss Stacey Jeffries. Good evening.
Good evening, Clyde. How you doing?
Super duper. And we also have everybody's favourite South African, Yaz Samai. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to this one.
And on the cameras, as usual, with his finger poised on the slow-mo replay button for Pete, is Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Ready for the slow-mo.
Okay, so Phillip Island. We was having a little conversation off air before we started, and I was explaining to the guys that it's one of my favourite tracks of all time, but a track that I can't drive. But it is absolutely fantastic. Yaz, have you done many laps around here?
No, can't say that I have. But I do know that there's, like we were talking about the end of the lap towards the, it's a turn 12, I think the last corner is, and then the first couple of corners are very fast and very quick and very fun. And then there's a section that is just inside out. It's just left and right and left and right and left and right, and that's the lap. So yeah, it's got a bit of everything, and they're gonna have to know what they're doing to get around here.
Yeah, certainly. And I don't know if we won't talk you through the lap, but I don't know if Sam could just go on board with somebody, and then the viewers all get an idea of what this track is like. Stacey, we've already heard that Martin's not a fan of the track. What do you think of what you've seen of it so far?
Okay, well, I quite like the look of the track as in regards to the layout, but inside information from the result team, as you know, Martin doesn't like it. He seems to think he's actually struggling with it. Dave has found pace for this track, so hopefully we'll see something from him today.
We're not seeing it yet.
Mark has been quite quick. I don't know what you know much about turn 2, but I have been informed that apparently this is where bad things are going to happen. I don't know why that's been said. Perhaps, Clyde, you can tell me a little bit more about turn 2.
Yeah, well, the only thing I can think of is, again, as we were saying off air, it's a track, it's not a very wide track, it's a technical track, and sort of coming out of the last turn down the main straight, it is possible to stay on the outside round turn 1 to get the inside for turn 2. But it is really, really difficult. And what can happen, what I've seen and what I've actually done myself, is you try and hang it out round the outside of turn 1, clip the grass, and then you're a passenger, and you basically shoot across the grass and then straight across the track. And yeah, it can be carnage. But let's hope that these drivers are a little bit more sensible than I am, and they can get round in one piece. So we've got we're in the qualifying session. We're just over 9 minutes in. We've got Marco Lewerk currently leading GT4 with Tyler Newitt second and Wobbly Niekamp in third. Something is terribly wrong in TCR because Pete Bingham is currently sitting on provisional pole with Mark Draper second and Jamie Wilson in third. Some new drivers tonight. Chris Needham, Jason Haddington, and apologies, Arnaud Chanonnier. All driving McLarens, which is interesting. They're all in the RWC racing team. Obviously, we welcome them to the league, and they're definitely a decent addition to the GT4 grid, which has been lacking. So looking forward to seeing them go around. Pie man Mr. Carl Hardy isn't with us tonight because he's at a pie eating competition. Anybody that usually cheers Carl on, especially James, you're going to have to find somebody else to shout for. So we're getting to the sharp end of qualifying. So last time out at Sonoma, we had Tyler Newitt took away the GT4 win with Rob Venn second, Andy Perks in third. Gary Craig took away the TCR win with Lee Bowden in second and Carl Hardy in third. So as things stand at the moment, top three in GT4 are Tyler Newitt with 782, Rob Venn with 683, and Stefan Goebel with 561. In TCR, Mark Draper leads the way with 689, Gary Craig in second with 566, and Jamie Wilson in third with 556. In the team standings, Ray BSTV Esports Green currently lead the way on 977. Result Clothing iRacing team in second with 932, and Safeguard by Result in third with 920. So everybody is up to date on where we are. Evening to James on the chat. Evening to Mr. Alan Toon on the chat. Come on, Alan. We need you to sign up for this because we think you'll be good round here in these cars. So get your finger on that sign up button. Yes, let's quickly go back to you. Who have you got your eye on for tonight?
Well, I've got my eye on you because that was a very good first attempt of our newcomer Arnold Shanania. That was sounded almost like it could be right, eh?
Almost.
Almost. We'll have to check in on that one. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing these new guys out. Tyler's been doing very well on the side of the GT4, so it would be nice to see him have some competition. I think looking at the current qualifying, it could shake things up. On the TCR side, Mark Draper, took away the first 3 races of the season, and then last week we had 3 coming in with a wall. So maybe he could get it back this weekend. But it's nice to see Gary Craig up there last week. Pete Bingham is doing something. I think someone might be driving his car. I don't think he's logged into his own account.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think maybe he's lent his account to Tice Simons or somebody like that.
Something's not looking right there. But let's see what happens for the rest of qualifying, and hopefully you can keep it up there.
And Stacey, who are you looking out for tonight? Who do you think is going to do well?
Well, I'm just looking at the TCRs. I've got a really big feeling we're going to see people potentially out of place tonight. I'm going to have to shout for Mark today, I think. Of course, he's part of the result team there. In regards to the GTs, I reckon Tyler's going to have some fun tonight and actually have some people chasing him. So I think it's going to be interesting all round tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'll have a look at my messages soon and see what people are thinking about pit stops. But interesting at the top of GT4s with Wobbly Knee Camp up there. He's shown a lot of pace. Not always had the best of luck, and also he's had a couple of little offs himself. I think once was when he was either first or second. And managed to wall his car. Tyler's just jumped up there into second. TCR is just horrendously weird. It's upside down. Why is Pete Bingham on provisional pole? It's weird. But
it's nice to see Wobbly back this week. He missed out last week after a really good race with Tyler the week before, so and he's looking at the top of the table again. So
his teammate Simon is unfortunately stuck at work. Chris Shaw, I can never move away from Chris Shaw in TCR. we've seen him so many times. Does he sandbag in qualifying? Does he struggle in qualifying? He doesn't always, set the timing scream alight in qualifying, but when it comes to racing, you just see him move up through the field. So I agree with both of you. This is going to be a really, really interesting race, and Mark Draper has just pipped Pete Bingham to the TCR pole by the looks of it.
Just
Yes,
adding some.
yes, yeah.
It's adding some normalcy to the evening.
Tyler is he's give up.
I can imagine what Pete's saying now on chat, like laughing his head off, saying, "How did I get there?"
Yeah. I think him and Gary do put a lot of practice in. To be fair, and Pete is a hell of a lot better than he was. He just, and Pete will admit this, he does suffer from the odd lapse of concentration. And when he does, it always seems to go horribly wrong rather than just a little bit wrong. But let's see if we can put a full 60-minute race together. Obviously, the cars are fuel limited. So there will be at least one pit stop. While we're waiting for the official grid, let me just see if there is anything in our chat.
Yeah, so we're probably looking at about 37 to 38 laps for this race. So yes, we'll see definitely one stop, possibly two stops in there. We know we have our pit stop assassin Tyler, will be very light on the throttle as far as he can go. He's shown that he can save fuel on just about anything. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, our inside information is that it is a definite two-stopper, and nobody will be able to go with one stop. So we'll have to wait and see whether that is true or not. So let's have a look at our starting grid for tonight. And if I could just sort my buttons out, there we go. So your GT4 grid, Wobbly Knee Camp for Next Level E-Series team goes off on pole. Tyler Newitt for BSTV Esports Orange in second, and Marco Lewert for VTS Germany in third. Stefan Goebel for VTS Germany in fourth. Rob Venn, BSTV Esports Yellow fifth. Chris Needham, RWC Racing in sixth. Arnaud Chanonnier, RWC Racing in seventh. And rounding out your GT4 grid is Jason Haddington for RWC Racing 2. Into TCR, we have Mark Draper on pole for Work Guard by Result. Pete Bingham, yes, you heard that right. Pete Bingham in second for BSTV Esports Green. Gary Craig, third, BSTV Esports Green. Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera in fourth. Chris Shaw, BSTV Esports Yellow in fifth. Frank T-Bosch, Result Clothing iRacing Team in sixth. Martin Brennan for Safeguard by Result in seventh. And rounding out your TCR grid is David Ayres for Result Clothing iRacing Team.
I think it's nice to see Stefan Goebel up in fourth place, very, very close to the front pack again. Last week he had a bit of an off week. It seemed he seemed a little bit off the pace at Sonoma. So it's nice to see him back on pace again this week.
Yeah, it can just be as simple as a track doesn't particularly suit a driver, or perhaps they were very, very busy with real life and haven't managed to get the practice in that they require. But yeah, you're right. He wasn't really on pace last week, but nice to see him up there. And conversely, Rob Venn down in fifth. You know, we've seen him right up there with Tyler, so let's see if Rob Venn can do something during the race. And then the RWC guys, let's see what they can do in their McLarens. Let's see if they can get their way through the field and into respectable positions.
Yeah, I think something else that will play a part, is, especially for the new guys, is that this is an hour-long race. It's not like the official races that where the guys are practicing an hour is much longer than. It may sound short to the viewers, but to keep that concentration is a feat on its own. So, keep it clean, stay in there. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, we know it's a 60-minute sprint race. So, guys are now coming into the last corner. Another one. It's really, really tricky corner. Looks really, really easy. But it is so easy to disappear on that outside or catch too much of that blue and white curb there. And he's gone. He's gone early.
Let's see, everybody get through this clean here.
Yeah, not a bad tactic by the looks of it. TCRs are gone as well.
And we got change of drivers already.
He's gotten all the way up there. He's got quite a big gap for Wobbly's got quite a big gap to Tyler.
Oh, Gary Craig just got into it was Gary Craig, yes. Just got into the back of Mark Draper. Which in fairness didn't affect Mark too much, but it's dropped Gary right to the back of the field. We are the WC guys having a battle there.
Yeah, I think, like we said earlier, this track is very narrow, so you really need to know what you're doing to make a pass around here. It's not just about being quicker, but you just need to be in control all the time.
Curb cam looking good there, Stacey.
It looks awesome. I love this shot.
Yeah, so Gary Craig actually got ahead of Pete Bingham at the start, but obviously we see what happened to Gary. He's now frantically trying to get back on the tail end of that TCR field.
And was that in turn 2? Was that called?
Yeah, I think it was coming out of it. As if Gary carried a lot of speed somewhere.
That was a good prediction up front there.
Yeah, Chris Shaw already up one place and now putting pressure on Jamie Wilson. Jamie's taking that inside. Chris is tucked in. So yeah, this is Gary.
Gary got the jump on. Ooh.
Yeah, he just took a lot of speed in there. I think Mark surprised him with his lack of speed. So yeah, that's going into turn 2, isn't it? And then unfortunately the knock put him onto the grass. And that was Cheerio Field. So Tyler Newitt is putting pressure on Wobbly Niekamp for the lead in GT4.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from Wobbly in the past race, especially the one at Lime Rock, is that he knows where to put the car to keep another driver behind him in a very fair way. So we'll see how this one plays out again tonight. I think it's going to be a humdinger in front again between the two of them.
To be honest, he has the size of that BMW. It doesn't matter where you put it. It's going to block the whole track. It's like that boat in the Suez Canal, that car. And that's
looking up the inside of
that's
one.
that exact move that I was talking about, where you can, if you can hang round the outside in turn 1, you've got the inside for turn 2.
think Tyler was just listening to me and wanting to prove me wrong. Not letting me get by. But this battle's going to go on for quite some time, as it
but
seems.
they're into the hairpin here, so that's going to be Tyler's. So Jamie Wilson is now putting he was getting pressured from behind from Chris Shaw. He's now putting pressure on and getting past Pete Bingham for P2.
I think Pete needs to just be patient here also, and not overdrive himself. Just keep him, sort of drive within himself. I think we mentioned it last week. Not push it too far and make mistakes. I think it's just going to be a case of him holding on as long as he can.
He's not going to give up that place so easily.
Rob Venn. What's happened to Rob Venn?
Something might just have happened to Pete as well.
Stephen Goebel.
No, I think Chris Shaw just got past Pete. Right, so this is Rob. It looks like it's either going to be on his own or into the rear end. Oh no, he's going to get hit from behind. Marco Lewert got him from behind, and then Stefan Goebel went into Marco Lewert. Very light touch, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's into the hairpin there. Obviously, it looks like he just missed his braking point there, just a little bit. That's a very slow part of the track. I think they dropped down to close to 60 kilometers per hour in that section. So if you miss it there, you're definitely not going to stop the car in time. And that looks like what happened over there.
So Martin has got past Frank.
And David's up there now in fifth.
Yeah, he's biggest mover so far, up 3 positions. The RWC guys obviously taking advantage of Rob Venn and Stefan Goebel. So they're up into 4th, 5th and 6th in GT4.
Yeah, just looking at the TCRs, David is he hasn't been the best of qualifiers. Last week as well, he started at the back, but he definitely knows how to make his way through the field. So yeah, let's see if he can catch up to the back of Pete Bingham now. There's still quite a big gap, but it could be a fun time for him as well.
Pete needs to try and hang with these two if possible.
If you can just stay close behind them and they can just pull him around, yeah, you can just stay up there. It would be a good result.
Looks like he's got a pretty good setup there, Pete. Well, I say that, and he can take some dirt. But the car seems to be turning pretty well. Evening to Kaz Brinkhusen on the chat. He's supporting Wobbly.
Looking at Chris Shaw and Jamie Wilson, Chris was up there for the past couple of seasons battling for the championship. So I'm sure he'll give Jamie a run for his money at some point through this race, but he also thinks about what he's doing. He doesn't just go in there wild. So they're all quite quick at the front. So that race is going to, I have a feeling that's going to go on for the next the rest of the 50 minutes that's left in this race.
Yeah, Chris is obviously the reigning TCR champion. Knew that he didn't really have much hope of holding on to his championship because he couldn't do the full season this season. But that just shows how quick he is. Gary Craig is caught up to the back of the TCR field, and Rob Venn and Stefan Goebel have caught Jason Haddington.
Yeah, I think the new guys are going to take some time to adjust to the league.
Yeah, most definitely.
The guys in the league, not to say that the new guys are slow, but the guys in this league are pretty quick. So it's going to take some doing and some practice and some tinkering. I'm sure that the other guys will help him with their setups and all these kind of things to sort of get up to pace. But it's going to take some teething.
And an interesting choice, Gaz, there with the McLaren as well, because obviously the Porsche has been the weapon of choice, hasn't it, in GT4 this season?
Yeah, looking at the official races, though, the McLaren has been quite quick. So if you can get it right, you should be up there. But yeah, we say that we're always talking about the grunt of the BMW and the nimbleness of the Porsche and this McLaren doesn't breathe fire, but it's still very tight, and it really comes down to how well the drivers are, how good the drivers are in these cars. So you look at the top three, the top two, the Tyler and Wobbly are driving two different cars, but there's nothing between them. So it just comes down to how you able to combine the driver with the car, and that's going to give you the pace. Anybody can win it.
Yeah, I think the trouble with the McLaren in this league anyway is it's a very good all-rounder, but it does use more fuel than the other GT4s, and in a fuel-limited car, that can be a big issue.
Yeah, Rob did complain about that a couple of races back, where that was trouble. But I think if rumors are correct that this is going to be a two-stop race for everybody, then that rules that problem out. It's just going to be about how quick you can go in between those pit stops now.
Yeah, Gary Craig has got past Martin Brennan, so he's now up to 6th. Anything caught your eye so far, Stacey?
Well, I was just about to say, I just noticed that Gary Craig is on his way up. David Ayer's next for him, I guess. But yeah, you would expect to see Gary higher up than he's been this evening, but he's getting his places back. So yeah, impressive. You can see what Martin means now. You can see he's not a fan of this track. He's doesn't appear to be fighting at the minute by the looks of it. He's letting everybody go by.
And nothing in the swear jar yet?
I haven't heard anything yet. I think he's aware that this track isn't his best track. It's something he doesn't really enjoy. So I think he's just going to probably do what he's done before, chill out, finish the race in one piece and just try and enjoy it as much as he can.
Yeah, just bag some points.
Which sometimes is a good idea to do.
Well, without a doubt, yes. So Stefan Goebel has got past Arnaud Chanonnier. I like that name. That rolled off the tongue.
I was about to say, it sounds like you got to check you've got stitch marks on your tongue here.
Ooh, steady, boys. Steady. That's Gary Craig getting past David Ayres. David Ayres did have a little look back, but nothing going on there. So Gary is now chasing down his teammate Pete Bingham.
Yeah, I think I think we found out last week that Gary had a problem with his brakes, with his brake pedal for the first couple of rounds. It saw him at the back of the pack, but I think we'll definitely see him catch up to the front view, because we know his pace now that he's got everything working. I'm sure he's going to catch up to the rest of the pack. He's just quite a bit quicker than the rest of the field. So good luck for the rest of us.
Chris Shaw is going to try that hang it out round the outside move on Jamie Wilson.
It's nice to see that Peter's still right on the tail there. So
yeah, I think what's
he's
helping
doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I think what's helping Pete is these two are actually fighting each other now, aren't they?
Yeah.
This could
But yeah,
go horribly wrong.
Yeah, they're two very, very, very good drivers, to be honest. I wouldn't expect any shenanigans between these two.
yeah, and yeah, like you're saying, Pete is doing what he needs to. Hopefully he can just keep it up. It's nice to see him on camera not spinning for a change. So you know, we're getting a bit of him. He's getting some airtime of actual driving.
Well, there's plenty of time yet. I've now got my cake, by the way.
I just heard the spoon go. What are you eating?
You don't want to know.
Is it a dirty chocolate cake?
Better than that. It's a hot cookie dough, large type cookie thing with caramel ice cream.
That sounds amazing. How are you going to move after that?
I don't actually intend on moving.
So this battle is allowed Mark Draper to just pull away a bit in the front. So he's got some
He
clean
keeps
air.
having a look there.
Yeah, Pete is certainly looking racy. Normally he looks crashy.
You could definitely see he's put some practice in for sure for this circuit.
Jamie Wilson is right in the back seat of making the pass there. I was about to say he's right in the back seat of Chris Shaw's car, and they're going at it here, corner after corner. It looks like Jamie's got the pass on Chris.
I just think we're definitely going to see these two chopping and changing, or three of them chopping and changing for the whole of the race. What do you think, Yaz?
Yeah, I think you know, this he was looks like Peter's really getting in there now. So this is going to be fun. That's all I can say. It's going to be fun. And I think you know the drivers enjoy this as well. You know, as long as they can keep it clean and they can be racy with each other, they really enjoy this. You know, it's one of those times when I know we're talking very early on here, but when it
That was a little
when it
off
comes
there.
to the end of the race, when it comes to the end of the race and they finish second or third, but they have a battle like this, they enjoy it. Sometimes even enjoy it more than winning, because it's just a fun, memorable race for them. And I think the person that's going to come away with that is Pete here, with the way he's keeping up with him.
I can hear his laugh. I can hear it right now. Him giggling away to himself, having a whale of a time.
Yeah, and it's nice to see this as well. Is that the three front GT4s aren't that far apart. Obviously, Rob Vane and Stefan Goebel had it coming together, which dropped them back. But the front three aren't really stretched out. So hopefully they can pull that back there. Wobbly can do something and pull up to the back of Tyler.
Yeah, Rob and Stefan have now got up to the back of Chris Needham in the third McLaren.
Yeah, they're a long way off the front three now. It's gonna be quite a good race from them if they can catch up to the front three. What's it, about 13 seconds, 14 seconds? But yeah, I think that if they can do a fourth and a fifth,
It looked like three TCRs in one then.
I think we should be coming close to a pit window sometime soon. That's something we didn't discuss. This pit entry and pit exit at this track is something that also needs to be navigated. And yeah, the drivers could potentially lose or gain time in that just trying to navigate that pit entry and pit exit. It's very tight around here. You'd know better, Clyde.
Yeah. Pit entry here can be tricky. But then, I think that's something about Australian tracks. They just like doing that. Pit exit is weird because you are literally straight out into a corner and on the racing line.
So Rob Wynn has made a pass on Needham, and Stefan Goebel will probably make the pass in the next couple of corners.
Evening to Feel the Drive on the chat. Says, great racing so far. This battle gets better every lap.
Oh, brilliant. Good evening, Ali. Thanks for joining us and watching.
Is that one of your stripper friends, Stacey?
That's a fellow Z owner and the chap that does all the filming for the Z-Cars Racing series.
Ah.
He'd actually be a really good guy to actually get in the booth and probably do a bit of commentary because he is really good.
Well,
looks
you
like
know where we are.
Pit stopper.
McLaren in first.
With that stop at this time, it seems he's probably split his race in three, because it's on basically on 20 minutes there. So
yeah,
we'll see who comes in next.
Oh, that cookie dough thing was proper dirty. That was really nice.
If it's dirty, that's when you know it's really superb.
I know. I could eat that again, actually.
I could smell it from here.
My mouth is watering thinking of cookie dough and ice cream.
Yes, I think what you smell is Clyde, not the cake. So I don't know if it's good.
Oh, is that the dirty part?
I smell like a daisy. I am loving this battle. And I think, like Yaz says, these two are going to be loving it because, there's total trust between these. Pete's going to be loving it because he's like, well, I'm up there with these two. And if they do come together, it's going to be bye-bye.
I know we don't do this often, and I'm probably going to regret it in the morning, but Pete is doing really well right now. I mean, keeping up behind the two of them. Yes, they are doing battle, but he's in the battle with them. So
yeah, you can see how quickly Gary Craig is captured now because these two are battling.
I think someone's going to blink for their pit stops soon, yeah, just to sort of make up some time, and not because this battle is definitely going to cost them some time to mark ahead. So one of them might consider doing an early stop and maybe try and undercut the other.
Well, we nearly went 3 wide into turn 1.
So guys, who do you think is going to come in first out of these three? Oh my god.
What I can say is that was a phenomenal save.
That was nearly a phenomenal commentator's curse.
That was going to be a squeaky bum moment for sure.
I
It wasn't going
guarantee,
to be, it was one.
yeah, I guarantee Pete has crapped in his pants.
Bronze bands for the win. And there's GT4 there that we play into the game as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this GT4 is going to come.
so GT4 pits are busy. Marco Lewert, Rob Venn, Stefan Goebel, and Arnaud Chanonnier are all in, as is Jason Haddington.
I think this is going to be interesting. The battle of Needham trying to come through the field here, because he needs to be careful. He's getting in the middle of a heated battle in the TCR field, so it's not just a case of being fast and getting through the field. He needs to be patient.
Yeah, patience and doing it in the right place is what it's all about.
Oh. And now Gary Craig has also joined this battle. I think Chris Shaw has been saved a little bit by Needham coming through.
Yeah,
put a bit of a gap between him and him.
Yeah. Let's broke up that battle for a little bit. And I think Tyler Newitt is in and Wobbly Knee Camp has stayed out.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Let's see how far can Wobbly get. How many extra laps can he get in there? If it's only 1 or 2. If you can get 2 in here, that would really throw a cat among pigeons.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy. One look out! Bingham putting a move on Wilson. What is going on here?
I'm absolutely loving this.
Jamie Wilson had one of his eyes removed.
This is fantastic driving from Pete. He's just doing so well tonight.
Right, so that's 2 curses on Pete.
Regardless to what happens, if anything bad happens, he has just done such a good job. I'm so impressed.
So the best 26 minutes of Pete's life. I'm wondering if Wobbly Knee Camp has out-Tylered Tyler.
Well, it will be interesting to see when he does go in. I don't think it's going to be much longer.
Maybe Tyler is
the BMW. Sorry, what's that, Sam?
I think maybe Tyler is trying the undercut. You know, Wobbly's in.
Well, the Wobbly's
yeah, Wobbly's in.
I wonder if Tyler took left tire again, or maybe right on this track, even though. Yeah, probably right, because, you know, track is turning left.
Let's have a look. Yeah, definitely went
He's
up.
on the jack, so yeah, he definitely took tires. I think they all did when we saw on the last shot, when they were all into the pit lane. So that would make sense.
Now we just need to see where he comes out.
Wobbly is away, and he's going to come out in the lead.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think he's far enough down the track.
Yeah, it looks like he's got it. Quite significantly there. And now we're going to have to see how far each of them can push the second stint. Like we said, it's definitely going to be a 2-stopper now. I don't think that anyone's going to be able to make it. There's going to be some heavy fuel saving to make it to the end.
So Jamie Wilson is in.
And tires for Jamie as well.
Is Jamie the first stopper in the TCR?
Yes, he is.
So he's taken himself out in between the. I mean, he was in basically the meat in the middle of the sandwich of the BSTV greens, and he's taking himself out of that battle for now. So maybe that is a good strategic move for him to pull in there now.
And I'm going to assume, and it is an assumption, that the TCRs can make it on one stop. Because even if these guys pit now, they're going to come out over halfway through the race.
Yeah, that would be a good assumption, and that would make things interesting if it is a one stop for everybody.
It's definitely a two-stopper for the GT4s, but TCRs look like they can do it on one.
And that also means what we're seeing now is that the GT4s are going to have to make their way through the traffic of the TCRs, which adds a different element to the race.
Yeah, Chris Shaw is in. Mark Draper, Pete Bingham, Gary Craig have stayed out. David Ayres and Martin Brennan have stayed out. So let's see where Jamie and Chris end up in relation to each other on the track. Gary is a big fan of running it dry.
Gary's done very well to get up to where he's, considering he was basically right at the back of the pack at the end of the first lap, quite a way down.
Yeah,
so to be running where he's.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying, like, putting all the way back up to the back of the front pack here is really well done.
Yeah, that Wilson Shaw battle helped him no end.
For sure.
And that gap is not far off what it was when them two went in. So Gary Craig's in. Oh, Pete Bingham stayed out.
Martin's in.
Yeah, I think last week also Pete went a lot longer on his fuel than anybody else. So he's doing something there.
Well, I think Pete probably managed to save a bit behind that battle, didn't he? Whereas Gary Craig was put to the floor trying to catch up.
And this is just, yeah, you make a good point there.
Pete might also have got some extra fuel when he went into the back of Chris Shaw. Just siphoned a bit out on the way. So there's only Mark Draper, Pete Bingham and David Ayres left to pit. Everybody else in the field has been in. Tyler and Wobbly continue their battle.
Yeah, I think Wobbly's shown that he's got the pace. It's not the first time, that he battles it out with Tyler. We know that Tyler's quick. He's proven it time and time again. Over the last couple of seasons, though.
Hang on, what has Jason Haddington done? Whatever it is, it's going to be all on his own. He's going out wide. Good save.
I was about to say something happened to Martin. I had a big clonk.
This is a swear box moment.
He's done a Pete.
Yeah. Plenty of runoff there. No damage.
Yeah, and both that mistake there and the one done, the one by, was it one of the RWC guys that we just showed before that. It's really one of those moments where you need to remember that this is a long race and it takes a lot of concentration for a full hour to be able to run it clean for that long.
Yeah,
Gary
Craig, sorry mate, Gary Craig has just got past Chris Short. Not sure if that was a multi-21.
These guys have all stopped, so they're effectively in their positions, battling for position. Yeah. And Chris Shaw and Jamie Wilson still going at it, swapping positions side by side. Our lead TCR is in the pits now.
Be interesting to see where people come out.
I think Chris Shaw just let Gary Craig go because he wants to carry on this battle with Jamie Wilson.
They are definitely having a lot of fun there. Did they all take tyres in their pit stop? Do we know, Sam?
So look at the pit time.
You won't see it on the pit time, Clyde, because they are, they're covered by fuel. I will assume so. We'll have to show the replay, but as the battle is going on, leave us to leave the battle, which, is not the best thing to do.
Jamie Wilson definitely took tyres.
Yeah, we saw that on stream. Don't know about Chris, Gary, and Pete, but I will assume yes, because,
Yeah,
they probably
didn't lose much time there. I'm sure they did. Yeah.
I think, just looking at their track position, Chris and Jamie did, and Pete didn't. Because Pete has come out in front of those two.
Mm.
Could this be a mistake from
Pete
Pete then?
Yeah, Pete is not up in the jack, so probably no tire for Pete.
So what are you saying, Sam? I'm right again?
No. Pete took tires. Let's say that. I'm not gonna agree with you. No way.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to come into it towards the end of the race. Considering it's that tight between the second, third, and fourth, and fifth. I think tire wear is going to come into it, and if Pete didn't take tires, he's unfortunately going to be a victim.
And at the top of GT4, I think both Tyler and Wobbly took 2 tyres, and Marco Lewert took 4.
Yeah, Marco's got a big gap to fourth place, so he just needs to keep it cool and just focus for the last 25 minutes of this race, and he's got a podium in the bag.
Got to change there with Pete. He's now down to third. Oh. What's going on with Pete?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think tires are definitely going to make a big difference here if you've got new ones versus just going with the old ones. It's a long time. An hour is a long time for him to survive.
Pete's gone.
He's done a Pete.
And, good avoidance by Jamie Wilson.
Pete's done a Pete.
Yeah. I did hear on the chat Pete said thanks Jamie, and I think that was a thanks for getting on the brake. Sam's accidentally hit that slow-mo button again. Brake pedal is the middle one, Pete. There you go. Yeah, Jamie see that happen and knew he was going to spear back across the track and got on the brakes. So good awareness there from Jamie Wilson. And obviously that's relegated Pete back to 5th. But he's shown he's got pace with these guys, so it's not over. It's Gary Craig that's disappearing down the road at the moment.
Looks like we're back where we started with this D.
Yeah. Tyler's still putting pressure on Wobbly. How are we 40 minutes into this race? Where has the time gone?
These three are basically on a string here. They haven't left each other for those 40 minutes. So
Pete's having a look. Is he going to get it done?
Pete's just made a move on Chris Shaw. I think he's going to want to clip and save that replay.
Right, so
this is going to make things interesting now with the lead pack coming up to the traffic.
That's Martin and Frank, isn't it, in front of them? Or is it Frank and David? I think it's Frank and David, sorry. Tyler Newitt has had an off track, which has left a bit of a gap there. Where has he done this? It's got to be around the outside. Oh, he's hit now. It's that curb, isn't it?
The inside curb.
Yeah.
You just hit it.
Just
take
throw
it a
him
little
over
bit
to
too
the
tight.
right.
It's going to throw you.
Which means he's had to get right out of the gas. Luckily, we've got indestructible signs on iRacing.
I think he's saved it well there to not go further wide than what he did. That could have been very painful.
Yeah, that's Wobbly's chance to scamper a little bit.
We've got some more people in the pits there from the GTs.
Yeah, Chris Needham and Jason Haddington have been in for their second stop, so Yaz was right. They basically split the race into 3. So Wobbly Knee Camp is now coming up to these hard charging TCRs.
I'm not sure what's happened to Martin. Perhaps he's given up.
We're also seeing Pete is pulling away from Chris Shaw at this stage. I don't know what's happening there. If Chris is, they were all attached at the hip at one stage, and now they seem to have split out.
I can confirm that Martin Brennan is out of the race.
Okay. What did he do?
Oh, what happened there?
Done a proper job by the look of it.
That was 3 wheels on my wagon.
That looked like a malfunction of note there.
Driver malfunction?
Just as confirmation. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, I'm sure Stacey will find out the story for us.
Well, I've just got the information for you. It's called driver rage and drove it into the wall on purpose.
That is a
So I
malfunction.
guess he's given up.
Things that you never hear whilst real racing. The driver got angry and drove the car into the wall. Tyler knew it is in the pits.
Oh, that's very early. That's very interesting. That is very
he going
interesting.
to take any tyres? I doubt it. This is going to be a splash.
I don't think tires at this stage.
No.
But that's a very interesting stop, a very interesting strategy from Tyler. I wonder what he's got up his sleeve here.
Well, I've said it time and time and time and time again. If you are stuck behind somebody, do something different. And
I think,
Tyler has certainly done something different there.
Yeah, I think that something that he gambled on is that now he's going to be stuck behind Stefan Goebel and Rob Veen not Rob Veen, but Stefan Goebel for a while. Because I don't think he's going to be stopping anytime soon. Stefan, that is.
Yeah, and Stefan, in theory, Stefan should fight him because that is for position at the moment. I don't think Rob Venn would give up too much of a fight.
Yeah, well, Rob Veen is still a long way up the road, so it's going to be a while before Tyler can catch him. But he's right behind Stefan Goebel now, so that's going to be. It was quite a gamble for him to take on that one, but let's see what he's got up his sleeve. I'm sure he's thinking about it. So
yeah, Jamie Wilson has tracked down Gary Craig. Don't know if that was anything to do with wobbly knee camp going past Gary.
That could have also been a reason why Tyler would have stopped to avoid the TCR traffic.
So Marco Lewert is just pitted. Rob Venn also. So wobbly now is hoping Stefan goes long.
Yeah, and Wobbly's also got nothing in front of him now, so you can push as hard as you can to negate that stop of Tyler when he does come in. The stop will also be very short, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. But I hazard a guess to say that Wobbly's got this one if he can keep it clean for the rest of the last 15 minutes.
So you got Jamie Wilson's inset picture. He tries to find a way around Gary Craig, which he has done.
That seemed quite easy, actually.
But Mark Draper is getting on for 9 seconds up the road.
Yeah, it looks like Mark Draper's back on top after what can only be described as a hiccup last week. Actually, it could be described as a hiccup after hiccup after hiccup.
Yeah.
He did have quite a few comings together with the wall last week. And now it looks like he's back on top again.
So Tyler is right up behind Stefan Goebel. Is Stefan going to duck in the pits this lap? Nope.
I wonder what has happened to Chris Shaw. Is he's completely off the pace now. He's dropped quite a long way back from the this battle, and quite a way back from Pete Bingham as well. I don't know if he's got a problem or what's happening there.
Arnaud Chenonnier is in the pits in the meantime. Chris, it could be something as simple as he knows he's not in the championship. He's had a really good race with Jamie, and now he's just going to let him get on with it for the big points.
Still shocked to see David at the back of the grid. He should be much higher than that.
Yeah, he's not really improved that way. He's two up from his starting position, but to be fair, the 5 drivers in front of him have all been phenomenal. Stefan Goebel has pitted.
Yeah, so now we're gonna have to wait and see what the gap between Wobbly and Tyler is when Wobbly does need to come in.
Yeah, let's have a look at traffic. So Wobbly is coming up on Mark Draper,
but quite a long way away. So
yeah.
I don't think he's going to be held up there.
He also had a very bad lap on the last time, 139, when Tyler did 135.
Yeah. Although he has just fought his way through the TCR field, which Tyler is now going to have to do.
Yeah, but Wobbly will have to do it again. Possibly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, it depends where the traffic is for Tyler, but if it's too much in front of them, it will probably have to.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 TCRs between Tyler and Wobbly at the moment.
Yeah, Wobbly needs to come in, and he's going to come out between those TCRs again at some stage.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of where does Tyler hit that traffic. I don't think anybody's going to stop again. The TCR should run it all the way to the end.
Yeah, Wobbly did a 139 again. Possibly out of tires because he lost 4 seconds again on Tyler.
Yeah, he needs to pit that baby quick, doesn't he?
I don't think he's gonna make it, because if he did not took tires on the last time, jeez, I clicked the replay where the battle was going on. Let's quick look at this, because he will have no time to recover, for the last 5 minutes. If you want to take tires, you have to do it. Yeah, he did not. So this is the answer, and this is probably why he's losing so many times against Tyler. If you want to take tires and take advantage of them, you have to take them on the first stop, not on the second one. I think some of the asymmetric guys tried to explain that to Abdul on one of the VR GTC race.
There's no use taking it on the second stop. You're not really gaining much. Looking at it, where is 1 and 2? There's something else that we haven't considered, and I don't know if it's a thought in his mind, but could the slow times, he's done a 141, which is even... Could the slow time be him trying to save fuel to go all the way to the end?
That's actually a good point. I think he went pretty late, and yeah, I think he did 17 laps on the first stint, and I think from the information we got, that's 216 stops, 216 laps, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, I mean,
3 times 16 laps.
it will be. I mean, it will be a monumental effort to be able to make it, but I mean, it could be him slowing down to try and save enough to go all the way. I don't know, but
you know,
I guess we'll find out very soon.
There's one way to find out. Let's see. On board with the man.
Yes, there you go.
That's even more than saving fuel. That's. It almost looks like he's out of fuel. That's gonna be a long one, you know, and I don't think he's going to make it because he's losing so much time on Tyler. Tyler is only 10 seconds behind now. That's a big gamble.
He's going again.
Yeah, well, what are we looking at? Another 3 laps from here?
No, I don't think we got that. Oh, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think 3 laps now.
Yeah.
So he's got to save enough to be able to still defend that 3. What's he doing? 141s. What is Tyler doing?
Tyler's doing 135. Well, 136.
Yeah, that's.
So Tyler's gonna catch him in at that pace. Tyler catches him in 3 laps time, and then he just needs to fend him off for half a lap, possibly.
No, in 1.5 lap, Tyler will be behind because it's 6 seconds faster a lap, and he's only 9 seconds now.
Has 9 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at the.
SDK is a bit weird on the actual app. It's the correct time, but on the timing tower is not correct. So it's now 8 seconds. It's creeping down.
Fast. Gary Craig is all over the back of Jamie Wilson now, looking to make the pass up the inside. And then this is what I was talking about earlier. You've got left, right, left, right, left, right. So you might have the inside line on the first corner, but then you've got the outside on the second part of the corner, and it just goes back and forth like that. Oh, and that's not the outside line. It's a really different outside line.
So
yeah, I think Wobbly, it's outside the outside line.
Yeah, Wobbly is on the penultimate lap.
He's picked up the pace there, so it doesn't look like it was tires. What did you get there? 139. So it looks like he's still got something in the tank there.
Yeah, so there was only 3 seconds between them in that last lap. But he's still got to finish this one and do another one. Tyler's got to get past Jamie Wilson.
And I don't know if I should say this out loud, but Pete Bingham's on the podium at this stage.
He certainly is.
I think Wobbly's going to want to slow it down just a little bit so that it's only 1 lap after this. He does want to go past the finish line I think that part is safe now, but it looks safe. Like Tyler is now should be able to see him in front of him. So
yeah, the gap is less than 3 seconds, and there's going to be 1 lap to go.
This is the last lap. I think that if Wobbly has enough fuel to make it to the end, I think he's just pulled off. He's just out Tyler for sure.
Yeah.
Tyler's going to be pushing hard, but I think this gap is 2.5 seconds to go. If it's just going to come down to whether Wobbly can make it all the way to the end on the fuel that he's got.
Can
I'm
we
sure
go
he's
on?
going to be spluttering over the line.
Can we go on board with Wobbly? See if we can see him cough.
Looks like he's able to maintain that 2-second gap. Just a few more corners to go now.
Yeah, it's about halfway around the lap, just over.
I think he's played it fairly well to have made it this far and still going. Tyler's going to be catching him, going to get closer, but he's running out of corners now, so...
Yeah.
Fantastic,
One
fantastic
corner
race
to go.
Fantastically strategically put in place by Wobbly Camp to have pulled this off. Yeah, he's done it.
Wobbly Camp
exceptional.
out Tyler for first place. Tyler Newitt comes home in second. Looks like Marco Lewert is going to come home third.
That was amazing. I think Tyler would appreciate what has just happened more than anybody else.
Yeah.
More than anybody else, he knows that was what he'd done. You know, he's done it to on numerous occasions and done it to many others who had tried to race him. And he was the king of fuel saving. But I think he's just been out muscled and out saved by Wobbly. And look at Pete Bingham.
Yes, he's going to have a rather large head. So, Stacey, give us your rundown on what we've just watched.
Well, I've just really enjoyed watching Pete tonight because he gets so much grief in every race he's done, and he's just done absolutely superb tonight. There's been lots of racing going on, lots of action throughout the field, so I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, surprised to see that Tyler's not first, so it's nice to see a different change in the field there, and these new guys as well. Looking forward to seeing what they do for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and Mark Draper, absolutely superb. He's had no airtime at all because he's just done such a good job.
Yeah, most definitely. Right, so let's get in our GT4 winner, Wobbly Niekamp. Welcome to the booth.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello. So, you have just out-Tylered Tyler Newitt.
Yeah, well, he kind of forced me to because he went in a little bit early, and I spoke with him in the interview in the waiting room, and he told me that it was a gamble from his side. And when he went in, I knew it was too late to go back after him because I realized too late that I had to go in. So it was my only chance to win this.
Well, it certainly worked, mate. Some really good battling there up front at the start. I know it turned into a tactical race in the end, but you must enjoy those battles with Tyler and people like that.
Yeah, it was fun to do, and at first I wanted to keep him behind me, but then I saw him launching in. I was like, oh well, if you want to go first, then it's fine by me. I'm just gonna save a little bit more fuel now.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the way to do it. And how perilous was you on fuel?
Well, I stopped, I think, 30 or 50 meters when crossing the finish line, and I think my fuel usage was something like 1.8, and when going into the last round, it was 1.82 or something. So I had to save, I had to save the whole tank.
Well, like I say, you've out Tyler tonight, and I'm sure when we talk to Tyler, he's going to be very appreciative of that. So another win in the series for you. The BMW proving that it's not as much of a dog as we think it is. But I'm going to have to ask drivers this week, the green hell next week. Are you looking forward to it, or are you dreading it?
Oh, well, I love the track. I like it. It's fun to see races on it, but I'm absolutely terrible at it.
Yeah, I must admit, I get lost when we drive around there. Myself and Pete, we think we've got the track, we know the track, and then you turn left, but the track goes right because you're on a different part of the track than you thought you was on.
Yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. Yeah.
It's certainly gonna be good. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Well, first I want to again give the shout out to you guys because your league is awesome. I mean, I never drove GT4 before this, so Simon kind of forced me to, but I like the league. I like the guys. I like the battles with Tyler and the other guys. And of course, I want to thank Stefan because he made the livery for me with the wobbly knee camp on the side. I mean, I asked him to, and it was great. And of course, the next level guys and the sponsor of it. It's just fun to do.
Excellent. Well, pleasure having you in the booth, mate. Congratulations on your second win in the series, and we'll see you next week at the Green Hell.
Yeah, let's do this.
Excellent. Catch you later.
All right, see you guys.
Okay, who wants to interview Tyler?
That'd be you then, Pete. Not Pete, I mean Clive. What we're talking about?
Tyler Newitt, welcome to the booth.
Oh.
We was just having a discussion there on who wanted to interview Tyler, and nobody did. So it's fallen on me. So you got the short straw, mate. Tyler Newitt has been out Tyler Newitted.
Yeah. Well, and almost 2 weeks in a row because Andy Perks nearly did the same thing to me at Sonoma. So I don't know what's going on, but those guys are. I guess I've kind of opened the eyes of people to what you can do with fuel saving, and now it's being used to bring me down. It seems so. That's fine with me. I'm happy to. Happy to share in the racing because it's a lot of fun. I mean, it was super tense those last few laps. As soon as we went one lap longer than me in the first stint, I knew I got a sense of what he was doing. I figured he was just trying to shorten up that second stop. So when I came out behind him after the first stop, I was happy to just ride back and. I was just going to try and make up the difference. And then I noticed that anytime I was lifting, he was also lifting. The gap wasn't increasing. So it was very clear to me what he was doing. And, it would have, there was no way, given the pace I pushed in the first stint, that I could have made it on one stop without dramatically saving in the second. So my only hope was to get a good jump. So I tried to pit, actually with, thanks to Rob for reminding me to pit. I had when I was in behind the TCRs, and getting held up a little bit, I ducked in and, I think if I had pit a lap earlier and taken 2 laps less fuel, I probably would have won that race, but, you can't win them all. And, it's been great. So far this season, battling with Weba and with everybody else. I mean, Marco had pace too today. I was in behind Stefan too for a little bit, and he was just as quick. So if he hadn't had his run-in with Rob at the beginning, he would have been there too, I think. So yeah, it was a fun race.
Yeah, and a trio of McLarens joining the grid that bolstered the numbers. I'm sure those guys are going to get plenty of help in the coming weeks to get them properly up to speed. But that's a nice addition.
Yeah, I was quite happy to see them sign up. You know, it's great to have people in GT4, and hopefully we get Simon can get off of work in time, and Andy, whatever's going on with Andy, he can get in here for these races too. We could have a double-digit grid. I think that would be fantastic, and absolutely, I've already offered to help out where I can with the new guys in practice sessions and whatnot. I mean, that's what this group does. I think Yaz can probably attest to that as well. We love to help people get up to speed, and Phillip Island's a tough track for sure. And I know a couple of them said it was the first time they'd driven the car on the track today. So maybe with a little more time to practice, they'll be right up there next time out.
Yeah, Yaz got that much help that he quit. I am asking all the drivers tonight, green hell next week. Love it or hate it?
I used to hate it. I was never a fan. I think it was mostly because I drove with guys who that was their bread and butter, and I was, it's not my bread and butter. But I've put in quite a few laps in the GT4 because Sam and I are planning to do the Nürburgring Endurance Championship. So I've been putting some time in, and it's these GT4 cars are fun anywhere these days, but around there especially, it's a blast. So I'd say I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your second place. Commiserations for being out-titled. Any shout-outs you want to give before we let you go?
Shout out to you guys as always for the broadcast, and for putting on the league. Great to see the numbers going up, and I think from what I've heard, basically everyone who wasn't there today is planning to turn up for Nürburgring. So I think we're going to have a nice full grid, even though it will look quite sparse around that track. But this league for as long as I've been in it has been one of the most fun and most friendly. So it's been a blast. Shout out to Pete and Gary and Rob for being in the chat. I know Pete had a really good day. Gary was up there as well. So a good day for the team, and shout out to Weeba because he ran a perfect race, and it's always fun to have a fight like that. It was a good one. So
yeah, and on the plus side, obviously Bill wasn't with us tonight, so all the names were correct. Well, yes. Tyler, pleasure as always having you in the booth. Like I say, congratulations on your second place, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep, see you Saturday.
Okay, so now let's get in our third place driver and BSTV Paints Supremo, Marco Lewert. Welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How was that outing in the GT4 for you?
Yeah, it was quite nice. I just did some laps with Stefan and found out that I'm not so slow, and then I decided to drive the race, and also as a preparation for next week.
Yeah, most definitely. So I am asking drivers about the Green Hell. Obviously, being a German, I presume you're going to be there for that one?
Yeah, sure. That's why I bought iRacing.
And I again, being a German, I presume that's a track that you've done thousands of laps on.
Yeah, I've done about 1,000 laps in reality with a real car, and I think twice as much in iRacing.
So we're expecting a Marco Lewert win next week then.
I don't know. Tyler is very strong, and I'm not sure with the fuel. I think that's again a fuel gambling, and I'm not very good in this. And also today, without the fuel gambling, I lost 2 times 4 seconds in the pits. Don't know why. On the Nordschleife, could be that it's 1 or 2 stops, and this is a big difference.
Yeah, well, we have increased the fuel for next week,
Okay.
so that will help out a little bit. But we didn't see a great deal of you when just before we started the broadcast. We see you smash into the wall, which we all found very funny. As for tonight's race, was that enjoyable for you with the tactical side, or are you one of these that just likes foot to the floor racing and not worrying about saving fuel and tyres?
Yeah, the second one, yeah. So I want to drive as fast as possible and not making fuel or tire saving gambling, and so I don't like this, and I'm not very good in this. Perhaps that's why I don't like it.
Oh, well, we can't please everybody.
But I did not. So I tried to drive as fast as possible. I perhaps ruined my tires and took too much fuel because Tyler was again 1 lap longer driving with the first fuel tank. But it was at the end. It was fun. It was the first time I was almost capable to drive the top times.
Well, obviously we'll see you on Sunday for VRA GTCC, and like you said, you'll be back again next Wednesday. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
First we see us on Saturday.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot you was in the V8 League.
Yes. And on Sunday and next week.
So too much Marco Lewert for us.
Yeah, could be too much BSTV for me. So I like always, I want to thank our small fan club in the stream. I want to thank you, and see you next races.
Most definitely.
And I'm keen to meet Bill on the track. I heard he's driving V8 too.
Bill has signed up, but he's not going to be doing this round. So you won't get the rolling roadblock that is Bill Switzer, unfortunately.
Okay, then I have to wait longer for him.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, Marco. Well, thanks for the interview. Thanks for joining in, and congratulations on your 3rd place.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so let's move over to the TCR field now. And somebody that we didn't see much of on the stream tonight because he was so far ahead, Mark Draper. Welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. At the start of that race, it looked like it was going to be one of those ding-dong TCR battles with 5 or 6 cars scrapping it out till the end. And then Jamie Wilson and Chris Shaw decided to have their own race, which allowed you to scoot off into the distance. You must have loved that action in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, I did, to be honest, because I knew that the lap times were quite close. And I thought as soon as I either had to start on pole and just go for it until try and break the toe, because I know the toe is really, really strong around here. And especially in the first few laps there where Pete was right on my bumper. I'd pull away from him about 8/10 in the twisty bits. And as soon as he got in the straight, he was right on my bumper again. But then I think it was Chris and Jamie started having a battle. And I thought, right, they're battling now, so I need to push. So I just floored it and just give it everything. And I managed to get a gap, and then that was just a case of just keeping my consistency up. But yeah.
And then, something that's never happened to me, when you are that far out front, what's your biggest challenge? Is it concentration? Or, are you watching your relative screen and thinking, oh, they got a second closer that lap, or I pulled a second on them that lap? What's going through your head when you've got that, that kind of lead?
At first, it was a case of like, I've got a second, maybe 2 seconds, and I thought, right, just ignore them. That's all I do is I ignore them and just hit my marks all the time. And then after about 3 or 4 laps, I'll look again and see what's happening. But then the thing is with this track, it only takes one wheel touching that grass or
exactly
just over the edge of any curb, and it just pulls the car straight into the grass, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
yeah, like, it's not a track that you end up with lots of damage, is it? Because there's some big runoff areas, but
yeah, exactly.
You lose so much time on those runoff areas.
Yeah, exactly. And near the end, I had a few where I was, like it says, concentration issues, where I was starting to outbrake myself, and I was looking at my fuel box and just like stuff like that. But
yeah, is anything going to go wrong? Am I going to run out of fuel? What have I miscalculated? Yeah, I'd love to say I know the feeling, mate, but I don't think I've ever been in the lead of a race, so that ain't happening. So I'm asking all the drivers tonight: green hell next week, love it or hate it?
I've went around it a bit, but I don't know how to go around it fast. If that's what you're asking. I know most of the corners, but I'm not sure if they're in the right order. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think I'll just turn up and see what happens. I'll get a bit of practice in.
Yeah, it tends to be one of those tracks that if you finish well.
Yeah.
If keep it out of the walls and that sort of thing, and you end up with a big haul of points. But great race from yourself tonight, mate. Nice to see you back at the top of the pile. After your brushes with death last week.
Yeah, the lads tell you I had dust in both eyes last week. So
something like that. More like your eyes were shut. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, just to you boys for putting on a good show, and all the lads as well in that race the league. They're all cracking good lads. Have a good crack during the week.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your win, mate, and we'll catch you again next week.
Yep, thanks. See you later.
Okay, so next up we have our second place TCR finisher, and I know what he's going to want to talk about all night. Jamie Wilson. Has Chris Shaw left your bottom alone yet?
That wasn't the question I was expecting. Yeah, well, he didn't take tyres, so that was the end of that.
But that was an absolutely fantastic battle, wasn't it, before the first round of pit stops?
Yeah, it was, and after as well. It was good fun all the way through that. I think I may have been the only ones that have taken fronts, because it just about worked out time-wise as being the correct thing to do. And it was just a case of trying to make as much advantage while the rubber was fresh as possible, because you saw at the end, Gary was chasing me down on old tyres because the edge had gone off of mine at that point. But yeah, no, fantastic battle, side by side all the time, elbows out, good stuff.
It's, from a broadcasting point of view, and I'm sure from a viewing point of view as well as a driving point of view, it is so good to watch two drivers with the utmost respect for each other, just going at it hammer and tong, knowing that the chances of them coming together are absolutely minuscule because they're both good drivers. But it wasn't just Chris, was it? Pete was up there. Gary was up there. You had challenges for that second place from every direction.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, don't think of it as a 2-horse race by any stretch. Pete was well and truly up and in there. Gary had his issues at the start and was able to fight back because we were too busy with our handbags. We fell back from Mark, obviously, and him having the pace he had, he was able to get himself all the way back up with us. So yeah, it was certainly a challenge. I didn't breathe for about 50 minutes of it.
And next week, Green Hell, love it or hate it?
Well, I like the track. It's I know the track. I've driven around it a lot in Gran Turismo 4 15 years ago. That still counts as experience. Not really done a huge amount around there in iRacing. You know, we've never done like a VLN or a 24-hour race or anything like that around there. I think I raced a Jetta around there once, and
Christ, what was that like?
Basically, fell asleep on the way.
1 hour laps or something.
Yeah, you know, the classic Jetta experience of for about an hour per straight. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that because it'll be very different from this race, obviously. But that I think will be a true reflection of individual driver pace.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Obviously, the rest of the field, as always, because like you say, this is a trust-based thing, and this whole field I trust completely. So Chris and I, obviously, raced in the GTCC last season, a couple of other bits and bobs, and of course in my little stint in this a couple of seasons ago. Obviously super trustworthy driver, and yeah, really, really pleased to see Pete, up and with us and not shying away. He was fully getting involved in all of that, and that was good to see.
Yeah,
and of course you guys on the broadcast. It's a shame Bill's not here because I would have liked to have done a holy mackerel tally.
We did say Bill wasn't here, so all the names were correct tonight. So that does make a change. But congratulations on your second place, mate. Personal thank you for the battles that you had tonight. It certainly kept the broadcast interesting. And we will see you on... Are you doing the V8s this season?
I'm indeed, yep. I'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, we'll see you on Saturday then.
I've done no practice. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Not a problem. It's the easiest car on the service, as you know.
Yeah, of course. And it's definitely not been patched like 6 times since I last drove it. So.
Most definitely not, no. And it probably won't get patched again before the weekend. All right, mate. Well, pleasure having you in the booth. Congratulations on your second place, Jamie Wilson.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're getting there. Next up, we have our third place finisher, Pete Bingham.
Good evening.
Good evening. What the hell happened there?
I don't know. Is the honest answer.
You had some serious pace.
Yeah, I did. I don't know. I can keep saying it all night. I really don't. I'd never done a lap as fast as the 3 I did in qualifying on this track ever. So,
I agree with that. Qualifying aside, we have seen you qualify decently in the past. You're capable of a fluky lap, as we all know that. But I expected those guys behind you, so Gary and Jamie and Chris and possibly David as well, to go past you over the first half dozen laps, and then you to settle in around 5th, 6th and bring it home. But you was actually staying with them, bothering them, and getting past them.
Yeah, when I was sat on the start line, or rolling or whatever, I thought 5th will be good. I'll be happy with that. And then once we started, and Gary had an incident where Mark had braked very early for turn 2 because of his cold tyres, and Gary got into the back of him and lost control. He ended up at the back, and can I just say, recovery drive of the century. So from the back to, well, basically second, before he had another little mishap towards the end. So that's fantastic. I realised that I had race pace with them. Obviously, I had a little mishap as well, and Jamie and Chris got past, and they started slamming each other with handbags for about 10, 20 laps or something, it felt like. And I couldn't get past them. They were too wide through the whole lot, but I felt faster than they were. And I didn't realise the benefit of being behind them until they both peeled off for the pits. and I was like, they can't run out of fuel by now. I've still got 6 laps of fuel left. So I did all my laps of fuel. Mark had clearly fuel saved the same amount as me. I did a really, really good pit for the first time in my life. I didn't know it was good until Gary said you're an entire second faster than anybody else in pit lane. And then I had, did you see the one where I turned it sideways and Jamie did save of the century?
No, Sam didn't catch that, and he certainly didn't slow-mo it either, no.
Right. So based on the fact that Jamie threw the anchors out of the back window and put his feet through the floor to stop and not hit me, I let him go past on the next straight because I thought that was fair. And if I hadn't made all my boo-boos, then I suppose actually second would have been on the cards, I guess. Everybody else seemed to muller their tyres and I didn't. I used to like driving the V8s around here. Not against Foggy or anyone because they're just obscenely fast, but I do like Phillip Island. I think it's a good track. I didn't know it'd be this exciting in these front-wheel drive cars, and it has been. And I'd definitely come back here again. Can we do this each week?
Yeah. And next week, Green Hell. Have you got your sat-nav ready?
I'm going to have a big fold-out map, you know, the old-style stuff that we used to do before technology.
Yeah.
And my cats are going to point at it and tell me when to turn left and right. Because, honestly, all the turns look the same. I don't like it. I get bored. I think about which room I'm going to decorate next. Shall I use the cream or the... Oh, crap, I crashed. And that's generally my path around there, which is also similar to my tactic used at Bathurst. And a number of other tracks on the calendar as well.
So for you next week, it's just going to be a race of survival.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't turn into, as I think Mark said when we were in the interview room, 10 people having 10 races with themselves. I just don't like it. If I'm being honest, the track is just monstrously big. Only weirdos and perverts would want that on the schedule, but
I can't see it going that way myself. There's too many close battles in this league at the moment.
Yeah, and it was nice to refresh myself. I have to thank Gary as well for not letting me beat myself up about being a rubbish driver, and he keeps saying, no, it's your race, you stay in it. I was like, do you need the points? He was like, why do I want your points? They're your points, finish the race. I was like, wow, okay, fair enough, I'm not used to being here. What are points?
Well, you know, make the most of it for 7 days.
yeah, I've been it on turn 2 or something at Nordschleife. Yeah, so
nice
fantastic.
one.
Yeah, cheers, Stacey. I didn't bin it as often or as badly as I normally do, so I think I've done all right here tonight. And I was shocked by the fact that I actually had some pace, and quite a lot of pace as well. And I didn't muller my tyres, so happy about that.
Excellent. So, any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, EDF Motorsports for sponsoring the series. Thanks to Marco for doing 4,000 paint packs and another 4,000 corrections on those paint packs. Thanks to Gary for being a good teammate, and thanks to everybody that turned up and raced. That was probably one of the most enjoyable and exciting races I've ever participated in on iRacing ever, I think. I'm still buzzing and I'm still shocked.
So, you heard it here first, folks. Pete is now retiring.
Yeah, I've used an entire season's worth of talent, probably more than that in one race. I'm last for the rest of the season now.
Right, excellent. Well, we will speak to you at the weekend, Pete, for definite, because we've got a busy weekend coming up. Congratulations on your podium finish, Pete Bingham.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so last but not least, we have Mr. Slidey Craig.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, Gary, we see you first off get surprised by Mark's early braking, and then you may be able to tell us different, but it looked like contact. But you came out worse because it sort of spat you out to the side and away you went in the grass, and by the time you got back on the track, you was quite a way behind the rest of the TCRs.
Yeah, it was probably 50-50. I think Mark mentioned he probably was a little early just on cold tyres, and I probably misjudged a little and nearly got in the back. And I just, when I realised that had happened, I stamped on the brakes as hard as I could. So we 0x'd. We didn't have a proper contact. But since we were in the turn and I was on the brake so hard, it just flung the rear end out. So came back on the track about 5 or 6 seconds behind the entire field and had a really fun charge back through the pack, to be honest. It was really good fun. I was back up to second at one place. I didn't ever expect to get quite that high again. But it was really good fun.
Yeah, not meaning to piss on your chips or anything like that. But there was the battle up front there with Jamie, Pete, and Chris. We see Chris and Jamie were too wide most of the way around the track for 15 laps. You obviously couldn't see that was going on, but Pete hopefully was in your ear.
Oh, I could see it the whole way. I was only 7 seconds or 8 seconds back at the start of that, so I could see it the whole way. It was quite funny.
Yeah, I was saying that must have been like a dream come true, because it does slow everybody up, doesn't it, and helps that recovery drive.
Yeah, definitely. Mark was getting away, but those guys having a good fight. I kept on telling Pete to get his nose in. He was like sitting behind them, but it certainly helped get back into that fight.
And then, like you say, you got all the way back up to second, and then we see another excursion into the grass, which ultimately see you come home in fourth.
Yeah, I was having a really good battle with Jamie at the end. Jamie took tyres, and I didn't. I didn't realise that you could take almost a free tyre stop there, to be honest, because we were taking so much fuel. So Jamie came out and he was super fast for the first kind of 15-20 minutes of that second stint, and he got past. And then I think his tyres started to fall off a bit, and I was a bit gentler on tyres, so mine was still good. And I was starting to get alongside him a couple of times, and I just gave him a bit too much room, to be honest. And it was probably just even half a wheel off. It wasn't much, but it was enough to lose about 6 seconds. Pete got back through, but I had a really good fight with Jamie for a good few laps at the end there. It was a lot of fun, really respectful, no contact, and just fun.
Yeah, very good. And next week, Green Hell, love it, hate it?
Don't know it.
Excellent. So
I've done 4 laps around there in the GTE. I probably started 20, but I finished 4. And I personally don't see there being too many tight battles. I think that there's lots of us are really close on pace now, but people's knowledge of the track is going to decide the battles next week. And I'm speaking to a lot of people, most of us don't really know it. So I think it could be who managed to do it the slowest as possible so that they don't go off somewhere.
So plenty of practice over the next 7 days?
I might, hopefully, be building a new simulator instead of practicing. It depends when it arrives.
So that could make it even more interesting then.
If everything arrives on Friday, I'll build it over the weekend and I'll have time to practice. If it arrives on Monday and Tuesday, I've got to either leave lots of new toys lying in boxes or practice Nordschleife. So I don't know what to do yet.
I know which one I'd pick every single time.
Exactly.
It's always new toys.
Exactly.
Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go, Gary?
Yeah, well done to Pete. He was absolutely flying tonight. He put in a fantastic quali lap. He was right up there, and he just needs to believe in himself and have a bit more confidence. I keep on telling him, you're quick, just go for it. You don't give up positions and don't sit behind people. Go for it. And I think towards the end he started to do that, and I think he really enjoyed that race as well. So
yeah, well, you keep building him up, mate. I'll keep knocking him down.
Well, exactly. That's what you guys are here for.
Is there any other shout outs?
Yeah, you guys, of course, for doing the league, to the sponsors, EDF Motorsport, to everyone else who races and watches.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth. Congratulations on your great recovery drive and your 4th place finish in the end, Gary Craig.
But I won the rallycross class, right?
Oh, without a doubt, yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Although I think you may have been disqualified for taking 2 joker laps.
Damn it. Oh, well. Next time I'll take 7 joker laps, I'm sure.
Okay, Gary Craig, thank you very much.
See you.
Right, guys. So, realised we got the interviews underway there. We hadn't gone through the finishing grid. So, I'm going to try and do it from my live timing screen, which may or may not work. But your winner in GT4 was Wobbly Niekamp. Tyler Newitt came home second. Marco Lewert third. Rob Venn in fourth. Stefan Goebel fifth. Chris Needham sixth. Arnaud Chanonnier in seventh, and Jason Haddington in eighth. In TCR, Mark Draper took home the win with Jamie Wilson in second. Pete Bingham came home third. Yes, I'll say that again. Pete Bingham came home in third. Gary Craig fourth. Chris Shaw came home fifth. David Ayres sixth. Frank Tibosh in seventh, and Martin Brennan in eighth. So I'm going to start with Stacey, and it is the $69 million question. Who is your driver of the evening?
Oh, I'm really struggling on this one, if I'm honest. Really struggling. It's between Mark and Pete. I mean, I'm so impressed by Pete. I was like so excited, like thinking, oh, fantastic drive from him. But Mark also kept it clean. It was in a race of his own. Oh, I'll go give it to Pete. It has to be Pete.
Okay, so a vote for Pete from Stacey. And Yaz, your driver of the evening, please.
Yeah, I was wanting to give it to Weber for his tactics and what he's done. But you might not call me onto the broadcast again after this, but I have to give it to Pete as well for his podium.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What is going wrong tonight? Sam, are you going to be sensible, or are you going with the weirdos?
Well, first I took going for Pete because, he did a pretty good race and it's pretty unusual from Pete. But Mr. Niekamp did a pretty good race. Even with that, I'm going to go for Pete.
Oh, you...
Yeah.
I have to. For once, he did a good race, so he deserves that one.
He's never gonna get another chance. He's never gonna get another chance.
Like next time you will have a vote from us, it's gonna be like in 10 years. So that's fine.
Yeah. So the horrible thing is, I can't disagree with you. It was a hell of a race from Pete. One of his best ever. Agree with Stacey. Mark Draper drove away because of that battle going on behind him, so he deserves it. Jamie Wilson and Chris Shaw deserve it, along with Pete, for that battle, and Gary included as well. But I am going to go for Wobbly Niekamp because everybody said a one-stopper couldn't be done, and he did it, and he Tyler knew it. So it's going to be Wobbly Niekamp for me. So 2 votes for Pete, and 3 votes for Pete, and 1 for Wobbly. So a quick rundown of the standings in our driver of the season. Mark Draper's up there with 5. Andy Perks and Lee Bowden on 4. Pete Bingham now has 3. Rob Venn and Gary Craig have 2, as does Wobbly Niekamp, and Carl Hardy has 1. So we had a quick recap from Stacey. Yaz, quick race recap from you.
Yeah, no, this was a stunning race by Wobbly Niekamp to take it home. Tactics coming into there, and he played it out very well. And then again, another epic battle in the TCRs that we saw going on and on and on and on. It was just so much fun to watch. A fun race to watch, and I hope everybody enjoyed it.
And Sam, from you.
Yeah, sure, interesting battle. The job from Wobbly just doing the fuel save is, doing better than Tyler is pretty hard. I tried at Sebring, I did the same, and I tried the first race I did, and it was just impossible. So yeah, hats off to Weeble. And yeah, Mark Ripper, good race, and a lot of battle in the TCR. That was just impressive. And the final rush for the win in GT4, awesome as well.
Yeah, and you know, I think the guys have covered it all. I absolutely loved that race. It had a bit of everything. You know, it had TCR leader disappearing into the distance. We had that massive TCR battle throughout the race. We had the tactical side from Wobbly and Tyler. And 3 new guys on the grid that are just going to get quicker. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Coming up on BSTV in the next 7 days, Racetech V8 ESC is back for season 10 on Saturday. We're expecting a large grid for that supercar action. We are back with round 3. Oh, sorry, that's from Hockenheim, by the way. We are back on Sunday with VRA GTCC, round 3 from Watkins Glen. And then on Monday, we're back with the NLES GT3 series from Zandvoort. And as I've been banging on about tonight, next week in this series on Wednesday, we are at the Green Hell, also known as the Nürburgring. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Some great races coming up for you. So thanks to everybody that has watched, or if you're watching this on +1 or watching it a few days after the race, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks to everybody on the chat. We always enjoy your comments. Make sure you drop this video a like. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then you'll never miss one of our races again. Thanks to Yaz, thanks to Stacey, and thanks to Sam for joining me in the booth. It's time for us to close, so I shall say good night. Let the guys say good night, and we shall disappear and see you on Saturday. So thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
As always, thanks for having me, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Yeah, thanks very much. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you for the V8s on Saturday.